All right, so in this video, I'm going to go through parts 3, 4, and 5 and just give you a couple of tips for these sections. So I'm going to try to do it as quickly as I can. So for part 3, you've got your reference page and you need to know how to kind of use this. So there's 6 figures. Be sure to see on the back as well. There's 2 more figures that you can choose from. And these are all related to deer vehicle collisions. So I want to give an example. Figure X is not one of the options that you were given, but this is a figure that shows how the number of lanes affects the proportion of collisions. And AVC stands for animal vehicle collisions, and then there's all collisions. So as I'm looking at figure X and I'm filling out my paper, I might write something like this. Figure X seems to be saying that most animal vehicle collisions happen on 2-lane roads. All right. Um, so my solution should focus on 2-lane roads, or maybe we should add a lane to some of them. By doing this, I'm showing the teacher that I understand how to read this figure. I understand the important information, and I know how to apply that to some solutions. So either some of the solutions I already came up with, or I'm thinking about how it might inform my final solution that I come up with in step 5. So you'll do that for 2 of the graphs that you see on that reference page. Here's a little helper slide for this. So if you are choosing to focus on the deer, you can check out figures 1 and 2. If you're wanting to focus on the roads or on how speed affects collisions, look at figures 3 and 4. If you want to focus on the drivers, figure 5. And then figure 6 can help enhance almost any solution. So, pause this video, look over that, make sure you kind of write those down or something like that. Okay, when you get to part 4, I was actually noticing that I was answering some really similar questions in part 4 yesterday when I was working with students. So when it comes to the main criteria, just look back over at part 1. Reread that little section about what part 1 is, and that'll give you your main criteria that we are using to measure if the solution is successful. When you're thinking about other goals that can be used to judge solutions, I want you to, compare, well, what makes your solution better than another one? What are some possible considerations? And the scenario I was giving to folks is, what if I came up with the solution that we should just tear out all the roads? Right? Not gonna hit many deer on the road if there isn't a road there. Ta-da! What makes your solution better than that one? Like, why would you choose your solution over the one that I just proposed? Can you think of some ways in which you might be judging the quality of these solutions? That's what we're looking for part B. All right. And then, the constraints, which you should be pretty comfortable with, these are the limitations. So what kinds of questions do we need to ask to really understand what is limiting the scope of what we are allowed to do? There is some more support on the reference page for part 4 and as well as part 5 that I'm about to go into. So, check that out. I actually don't have too much to say for part 5. I think that people have found that this is pretty, kind of once you've gotten this far, you feel pretty seamless with this. So the only thing that I got some questions about was this part right here. Explain to the ODOT committee how your solution above addresses the subproblem and how that will help solve the overall problem. So remember, you're specifically thinking about, let's say I focused on roads. How did my solution address the issue that was going on with the roads, and how is that going to help solve the overall problem and I don't want to give that away, but the overall problem that we're trying to solve. So that's the only one that I think needed any clarification. All right, good luck. You got all the tools. You're going to do great.